Welcome to Something Witchy, a Sabrina the Teenage Witch rewatch podcast. I am Laura Cotter.
And I'm Skye Orchard.
And we are so happy to have you with us again. What is a very weird dream that you remember / or a recurring dream that you have?
Well, now I've had them, but now I just have to remember them.
Do you want me to tell you about my recurring dream and then you can think about yours?
Yes, please.
Okay. I haven't had it in several years. And I feel like by talking about it, it's probably going to trigger it tonight or this week. But I had it a lot when I was younger. And each time the dream would get like a little further and further along. The gist of the dream is that I'm at my parents' house because I'm little and there are velociraptors inside my parents' house.
Amazing.
And they like chase me a little bit and I hide downstairs in our basement in what used to be the playroom. And I shut the door, and the door is a good barrier for the velociraptors, which is one thing my dad pointed out to me when we were watching Jurassic Park when I was 8 years old, was that velociraptors can't actually turn doorknobs. This is not scientifically accurate. So my brain took that nugget of information and inserted it into this dream because the velociraptors were stopped by the door. And eventually they went upstairs and they fell asleep. And I had to get out of the house, and I had to do that. I had to sneak past them and go up the stairs past where they were sleeping. And this is where the dream would stop the first time. And then as I had it again, it would go further and further. So eventually I would make it out of the house, but then they would wake up as I was walking past them. So I'd have to run out the door, slam the front door, and just go running down the street. The whole time velociraptors are chasing me. The last time I dreamed the dream, whatever. The last time I had the dream.
Insert Les Mis right there.
Different dream than Les Mis. The velociraptors are still chasing me, and I'm running down, and I somehow make it over to the Walmart that's a couple miles away from my parents' house. And in the parking lot of the Walmart, there's a Asian family having a barbecue.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, do you want to come join us? Do you want to come have some food? And I tried to tell them there are velociraptors chasing me. And they're like, oh, that's so silly. And I'm like, no, they're really velociraptors. You need to run. You need to hide. And they won't believe me. And I'm torn between trying to stay and get them to understand me and just running and saving my own life. And I have yet to actually make that decision in my dream. That's where I stop every time.
You have a trolley problem in front of you?
I do. I do think in real life, though, I'd just be like, you know what? You're on your own. I'm leaving. And I've warned you 3 times now. I'm sorry.
Survival of the fittest. Okay, bye. So are these velociraptors Jurassic Park level jump scare chasing?
Yeah, I think they're larger than what normal velociraptors would actually be. Yeah.
Also, we've never met a velociraptor, so who knows, Bill? Maybe they can turn door handles.
I don't know if they're paws, claws,
wings. Who knows?
The nail things can make that twisting motion, if the bones are there to do it, but...
It's a great dream. I can't think of any insane dreams at the moment. I know I've had them. One I remember that happened a year ago, maybe, is I dreamt that my friend was able to successfully slide into Taylor Swift's DMs.
Okay.
So they started dating, and then I managed to get a production job on the Eras tour. So my friend was happy. I was happy. Great time.
Would you enjoy doing production for a worldwide tour of that scale?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it wouldn't just kill you?
No, the technical aspects behind that tour, it was amazing to watch in person.
You wouldn't get tired of so much travel so fast?
No.
Well, dear big music stars, you heard what Skye's greatest wish is. If you're looking, they are your production person.
Or a production person. I don't know if I want the pressure of being the production person.
Okay. I guess I thought that's what you were going to be. That's why I was concerned about your mental health. So.
Oh, no, it's I get to be a techie and just live my best little techie life in my blacks and just...
Is Taylor Swift the ultimate artist you'd want to work for, or is there another dream artist you'd want to work for?
Have you become a Chapel Roan fan yet?
I mean, I know the HOTTOGL.
Really like her, Fletcher. I guess any of the gay artists. Miley Cyrus, but she doesn't tour.
Kesha might be starting up again.
I saw that. Are you excited?
Oh, I have listened to that song multiple times. Yes. That was my first post on Instagram on the 4th of July was Happy Kesha Day.
Amazing.
And then I was like, oh yes, I should probably post pictures of my niece at a parade.
I mean,
priorities. You know what the worst dreams to have are? Work dreams.
Those, unfortunately, are most of my dreams.
The worst work dream I ever had was back when I was an undergrad and I was working in my research lab. We had to do column chromatography all this time to separate out our product. And it was just I don't know if I was just bad at it or if our product just sucked, but it would take forever, like hours of me just collecting liquid in test tubes. And I would have dreams about doing that. And I would come into work the next day and they'd be like, okay, you're going to separate this product. I'm like, no, I already did that. I was like so convinced I had done it because I had dreamed about it in such great detail the night before.
Oh dear.
That was the worst dream I've ever had.
I like to think I'm a fairly calm, cool, collected person in general, but most of my work dreams are when I get angry, because I don't get angry. And so I don't necessarily talk in my sleep, but there have been times where like Jill has woken me up because I am literally like yelling incoherent things in my sleep because I'm just trying to get my point across.
I do get violent in my dreams. I have killed one of my friends more than once in my dreams.
Okay.
And I usually do text him the next morning, be like, I'm so sorry I killed you in my dream again last night.
Okay, cool. I'm in the clear so far.
It's not you. Previously, it was my ex-boyfriend. I wouldn't kill him, but other people would kill him on my behalf a lot in my dreams. But Keith, I actually did kill more than once in a dream. Sorry, Keith. He knows. It's fine. We're still friends. This is season 1, episode 13, titled Jenny's Non-Dream. Our description, so again, I'm giving us the 2 descriptions until you tell me which one you like better. We have description 1. Sabrina invites Jenny over, but when Jenny's left alone, she wanders into another realm. Jack Wagner has a cameo. Description 2. Behaving as mortals for just one night turns out to be more than the Spellman household can handle.
I like the TV guide description until we get the Jack Wagner has a cameo.
I know.
Edit, people.
I mean, I could have chosen to leave that out on my own, but I thought it was funny and I kept it in.
No, you gotta put exactly what they say.
They do go on to like list other guest stars. I was like, no, that's too much. It originally aired on January 10th, 1997. Director is Chuck Vinson, known for things like Gullah Gullah Island, several of the NAACP awards, Clarissa Explains It All, which Melissa Joan Hart was on as a child, The Sinbad Show, Sister Sister, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and The Cosby Show. Writer John Sherman has returned from episode 4, Terrible Things. And then our list of guest stars. Penn and Teller are back as Drell and Skippy. This is the last time we will see Skippy. I think there might be one more with Drell, at least. Jack Wagner is as himself, Jack Wagner. He is apparently a really big soap opera person. He's been in 1,334 episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful, which is just so many episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful.
I mean, if you could get into soaps as an actor, that is your paycheck. You're set.
Good for him. At what point do you become the character that you were playing? Like, did your personality just mold into that? He is Nick Marone. He was also Melrose Place, a lot of episodes of General Hospital and Santa Barbara. Chuck McCann is the repairman. You may recognize his voice from DuckTales, Powerpuff Girls, or Adventure Time. He was also in Dracula, Dead and Loving It, and Robin Hood Men in Tights. Morwenna Banks is the rules bearer. Parents out there may recognize her as a voice from Peppa Pig. That was like her big IMDb credit. Also in Skins, Saxondale, a bunch of other UK shows that I don't necessarily know. Jim Childs is an uncredited student and back from Third Aunt from the Sun. This is our space grandma friend. And then there's no credit for the voices of Erwin and Villia, so no idea who does that.
If you voiced Erwin and Villia, let us know.
We'd love to talk to you. Please come on the show.
Tell us about being a brain.
What are your overall thoughts on the episode?
This episode is How to Gaslight Your Best Friend 101.
If the choices are between your best friend being a grasshopper and gaslighting them, is that really a moral issue?
Maybe slightly.
Would you leave me as a grasshopper? Or would you just save me from that existence? I give you permission to gaslight me if it makes me not be a grasshopper.
Could there have been other loopholes to find?
Maybe?
Why is Drell's powers better than everyone else's? Why can't other people just turn back?
Because he probably turned them into grasshoppers then.
Viva la revolution.
Why has nobody turned Salem back from a cat then?
Fair point, fair point.
There have to be rules. Rules are rules, Skye.
But we don't have rules, Laura. That's my whole thing, is there is no rules.
We now have a few rules. So this was not a good episode for you? Or were you able to still enjoy parts of it?
Oh, I enjoyed it, but that was just my description of the episode as How to Gaslight Your Friend.
Oh, okay. I mean, yes, fair. I'm okay with it, though. She's not doing it to be mean. She doesn't make Jenny think she's crazy. She just makes Jenny think she's dreaming, which is slightly better.
Given Jenny's dreams, she might be making Jenny a little crazy too.
I think Jenny's already there. All right, let's start with our cold open. Sabrina is in the laundry room that exists somewhere in this house. We've never seen it before. And she's pulling jeans out of the dryer. Hilda comes in asking if she shouldn't be going to school and wearing pants. Sabrina's pants are still wet, though. Hilda tells her to use magic to make new ones, but magic jeans come out stiff and new, and Sabrina's are broken in. Sabrina goes to clean the lint trap, but Hilda stops her. It's a magic dryer, and it's been on the fritz. They've been waiting for the repairman since 1968. Sabrina decides to just wear her damp jeans, but when she tries to take them out, something is pulling them back in. Hilda grabs onto Sabrina to help her pull as Sabrina yells to call the repairman. In this scene, Sabrina's wearing a Wadsworth soccer shirt, which is an actual team in Wadsworth, Ohio. And I could not find a connection between Melissa Joan Hart and Wadsworth, Ohio, and I tried.
Good job trying.
So I think it was just some random crew person's shirt.
You're going real hard on the costumes. Yes, rules. We don't know them. But why isn't there just a spell to, like, dry your clothing off without a dryer?
Maybe it would take too long. Skye, we can't go this deep down the hole.
I'm sorry.
We will break the very... Why are we doing this podcast then?
You invited me to do this with you knowing my brain.
I know. We can't question it that deeply. We have to keep our questioning, like, mid-level. Although, no, I am actually going to go deep level into one of these questions, too. So, valid point. Why isn't there a spell to just dry your jeans faster? This is going to be an episode. Our outfit intro is a racing outfit. Sabrina says, "Good look. Wish I had my license." And also, I looked to see if this was a specific team racing outfit. It is not, although it looks very reminiscent of some of the Williams Formula One racing outfits. It's not.
Reminded me of, like, Herbie Fully Unloaded.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Speed Racer at first, but it's nowhere near Speed Racer's actual outfit. Speed Racer does not wear a racing suit, and he definitely should. He just wears a blue shirt and some white jeans. That's not fireproof. Zelda is in the kitchen making sugar cookies with magic. Salem is disappointed they don't have liver.
Which, when Zelda says there's no liver, there's sprinkles. Just was hoping they're not accidentally truth sprinkles. That could have taken this episode to a different place.
It would have been a funnier place.
It's true.
Sabrina comes back from a sleepover at Jenny's and talks about all the normal things they got to do.
Casserole, Monopoly, and watching TV.
Who has casserole at a sleepover? Did you have sleepovers as a kid?
Yes, I did.
Did you have casserole?
I did not think so.
It was always like pizza or fast food. Like, it was supposed to be a fun time. Like, it wasn't like, here's your casserole, kids.
Sometimes a casserole can be fun. Is a lasagna a casserole?
I'm going to say no so the Italians don't get mad at us.
Good call, good call.
Zelda asks if Sabrina never invites Jenny over since they're not normal, and tries to show Sabrina she can be normal by mixing her cookie dough by hand.
Just like a pioneer woman.
Which, like, why do we default to pioneers with manual stuff when everybody like, the 1940s did stuff manually? We could say a medieval woman, we could say a cave woman, we could say an ancient Roman. Like, there's so many time periods to choose from. Why do we always default to pioneers?
I think it's an Americanism right there. I don't think other countries would relate to pioneers.
We just think that pioneers are the epitome of hardworking.
Hardworking, that American dream of going out there and colonizing. And
yeah. I just skimmed over your colonizing.
Touche.
As you do. Can't live in the West without skimming over colonizing.
Yep.
Zelda tells Sabrina to invite Jenny over. She'll even cancel her book club. She promises that they'll be normal as normal can be. Just then, Hilda comes in riding a pony asking who wants to play miniature polo. I talk about this later, but like looking at the past 13 episodes we have watched, the amount of animals in this show, they got a pony for a throwaway 2-second joke. A pony. It's a little wild. The pony's not wild. The idea that they got the pony is wild. Pony's obviously very well trained. Sabrina is regaling Harvey with tales of her and Jenny's sleepover and playing Monopoly. Harvey's family can't play board games since the Pictionary incident, which I relate to because my family's not allowed to play Monopoly anymore because of my mom. She gets mean.
I want to play Monopoly with Pam now.
She keeps letting you borrow money from her because she doesn't want the game to end. So then you're in debt to her. She will not let you quit. It never ends. Jenny admits her family is a little boring, but they love Sabrina and asks her to come over again this weekend. Sabrina keeps getting pinched as a reminder to invite Jenny over and reluctantly does so, telling Jenny that her aunts are weird. But Jenny loves weird. Harvey thinks Jenny will fit right in. And Sabrina's t-shirt had me so distracted during the scene. It was a rough time getting any synopsis written down because it looked, at first I thought it was just like a red stone necklace, and her shirt had a collar that was just like kind of like folding in, like falling close towards the top. But it looks like the stone is part of the shirt, but it looks like it should be like sagging down or falling. Her shirt is wild. I don't understand it. That's the magic of this show, is that shirt and how it's held together.
It's very much like a 90s witch sort of shirt, though, in look and style.
It is, but also like a giant stone. Sabrina checks over her room to see if it's normal and stashes her magic book under her bed, but it pops back out. She tries again and tells it to stay. Next, Salem needs to work on his meow, which is where I'm going to go a little deep because Salem meowed normal for 16 years before Sabrina ever became aware of magic, and now he struggles to meow. He's only been a normal cat for like 6 months, maybe 7 months at this point.
A non-normal cat, you mean?
Non-normal cat, yeah. He's been speaking, but I'm assuming he also spoke when Sabrina wasn't around and it was just the ants. He did meow in that first episode. We heard it. And now he like has to like work up to again.
We have 2 lava lamps prominently shown. At this point, no desk view for the very important cauldron watch.
I did check. I did remember to check this time.
Proud of you.
That's okay. We'll get to hear me ranting about the porch later. Once Sabrina approves of his normal sounding meow, she realizes something is still off. She uses magic to open a drawer and flings some clothes around the room. All better. Sabrina picks up Salem and takes him downstairs where Zelda is plumping pillows by hand. Sabrina runs into the kitchen when she smells something weird. Hilda is dressed like June Cleaver and pulls a smoking tuna noodle casserole out of the oven. Sabrina hands her a list of possible topics of conversation for dinner, like towels. The doorbell rings, but it isn't Jenny. It's the linen closet.
So now the linen closet has a doorbell. We're just throwing things in.
And I fully thought we had heard it before now. The linen closet has a doorbell from here on out. I thought we had already established that. So when Sabrina was surprised by it, I was like, didn't we already do this?
Nope, we're doing it now.
Thank you for also being surprised by it, because I was really confused. The repairman has finally arrived. Sabrina starts to point out his tail, but Zelda tells her not to be rude. Zelda asks if she's a rumpist. And Sabrina says the repairman can't stay. Jenny will get suspicious if she sees him. Zelda assures her that they'll keep him out of the way.
So rumpist, as we all know, is someone who judges others by their rear ends, actually has made it to the Urban Dictionary. And the person who posted on Urban Dictionary uses this exact moment to make it a word in Urban Dictionary.
Whichever millennial added that to Urban Dictionary, you're doing the Lord's work. Thank you.
It is officially part of the English language, so we can use it at will.
Like Urban Dictionary being the final word on what's officially part of the English language. Let's not make that accepted.
Official slang.
That's better, thank you. I will leave it to the dictionary.com people to tell me when a word is actually a word. Or the Merriam-Webster Twitter. Or X, whatever it's called. Threads. I think they're on Threads now. The Merriam-Webster Threads.
Wherever Merriam-Webster lives these days. Let us know your thoughts on rumpist, Merriam-Webster.
Yes, please. Jenny arrives and compliments Sabrina's house. Sabrina gives her a tour of the front room, but now it's time for dinner.
This would have been the best moment to know the frickin' layout of this house if Sabrina had just given the tour. Could have found out so many things.
Which I think is why they didn't do it.
Oh, I know.
Because they can't build a house that looks like that.
The cowards.
Hilda is sticking to the approved conversation of towels, and Salem lets out a yawn. Hilda switches to the next topic, the collapse of the economy on the Isle of Man. But outside the window on the weird porch, the repairman is chasing a lint monster. And apparently there is a window on the wall opposite Zelda. And I've never noticed there before, but I'm going to go back and watch the pilot episode because I swear that was like a mirror before or like a painting. And if it's always been a window, I'm going to be very disappointed in myself.
Maybe the house is magical as well. And it just sort of changes its appearance however it wants. And so it's
I think we discussed this like with the stairway being weird, that it's like, this is where J.K. Rowling got the idea for the changing stairs because these stairs don't make sense.
Yeah, so the rooms are changing now too. Just choose your own adventure house.
Which then why invite any mortal ever over to that house?
Well, they haven't really until now. Oh, Mr. Poole.
Mr. Poole was there. He was in the front room, but he was there.
Forgot about him. Sorry, Mr. Poole.
They had a Libby pineapple over.
That count? Pineapples can't see.
She was turned into a girl and then she ran away. So she was briefly human form in the house. I miss Libby. When do we get Libby back? Zelda suddenly yells for Hilda to help her clear the table, and they leave Jenny and Sabrina's plates but take their own, so that's clearing the table, I guess. They go in the kitchen to find the repairman covered in lint. They have a lint gremlin. They ask him to hurry as they have a mortal over. Hilda and Zelda rejoin the girls with an apple pie.
Which now they don't have plates to eat any pie for themselves.
Maybe they don't want any. Sabrina asks if there's ice cream and Zelda points to the kitchen. We hear a ding and she says there is ice cream in the freezer. Jenny offers to get it. Sabrina thinks everything is going really well, except the lint gremlin, Hilda explains. They hear Jenny scream from the kitchen, but it was just a large spider. The lint gremlin peers around the corner, and Sabrina takes Jenny over to the fridge to look for ice cream, then hurries her upstairs when the gremlin appears again before the repairman chases it off. Very slapsticky running around the house, but it's fun. I kind of want to hug the lint gremlin.
Looks very fluffy. Fluffy, raggedy teddy bear.
Also, we have no credit for who plays the lint gremlin. I know he doesn't speak. They don't speak, but somebody's running around in that outfit. I want to know who it is.
Probably a very toasty outfit, too.
If you played the lint gremlin, please let us know. No questions about that outfit and how soft it actually was. This is what I'm going for as Halloween now. I'm going to go as a lint gremlin.
I support this.
Start saving my dryer lint from here on out. The doorbell rings again, and Hilda and Zelda go to answer. Who could it be? It's two brains in jars. It's Zelda's book club. They didn't get the email because they had to close their AOL account because Erwin can't stay out of the chat rooms. Hilda tells them they can't come in, but their taxi won't be back for 2 hours.
Which now I can only assume we have magical taxi driver as a profession. Because surely two brains are not taking a mortal taxi to get to book club.
But then why are they using the mortal door? Why aren't they using the other realm door that we have established as a doorbell?
I don't know.
Have you met some New York City cab drivers? They don't care what's in their backseat as long as they get paid.
That's true. But can you hop between magical houses using the other realm? I thought it was just up and down.
They got to Marigold's house through the door.
But don't they live in the other realm and not the mortal plane?
Where do they live? In a science lab? They're just two brains in a penthouse apartment by themselves.
Well, they have internet and then they're using AOL, or they were.
Where do these brains live?
I don't know. I just want answers, Laura.
And I know we said we are going to keep it mid-level questioning, but if you're going to go for this lore, you have to go for this lore hard, and we are not explaining any of it. We're just accepting it. Well, it's snowing outside and the brains can't be left outside. Zelda comes up with a plan. The girls will be upstairs so they can put the brains in the dining room. Hilda raises a finger to say she's against this and accidentally conjures thunder and lightning, which didn't we say in the first episode that she keeps her safety on. Jenny notices that thunder and lightning and notices how close it is, and this is weird because we see a flash, hear a rumble, and then 2 seconds later we hear another rumble. You can't hear lightning. The sound of lightning is the thunder. It's not... You don't hear thunder and then 2 seconds later hear thunder again for the light. That's not how weather works.
Surface level, Laura.
It's silent. No, I am getting into this one because this is mortal science. This is not immortal rules of magic. You have a flash and then you have thunder. You don't have flash and noise and then noise again. Not how it works. Also, it wouldn't be 2 seconds because it'd be way closer. It was right above their house. It'd be like flash, thunder. Or together, not again.
But it's magical lightning and thunder.
I just ruined my hair. I was so upset about it.
You're also pointing at me through the camera very emphatically, I must say.
Good thing I have my safety on.
I felt that pointing.
I do want a reboot to be like, can you cast spells through Zoom?
Oh, that would be fantastic. There would be some great mishaps.
Just like a made-for-TV movie. It's like, how does magic work with TikTok or Facebook? Jenny noticed that Sabrina has a turret and she loves it and how it feels like anything can happen in Sabrina's house. Jenny says they should tell each other secrets. Hers is that she believes in other realms like in Narnia. If only they could find the door. And apparently she says when Edmund, thank you, goes through the door, and it's actually Lucy that goes through the door first, but Edmund also goes through the door, so I'm not going to nitpick that too much. Now it's Sabrina's turn to tell a secret. She says she doesn't have any. She's an open book. Just then the magic book slides out from under the bed. Sabrina kneels down to cover it up and admits she does have one secret. She's a really messy person. Jenny is not impressed. Suddenly we hear a crash. Sabrina goes to investigate and tells Salem to guard her door while she goes downstairs.
This is by far the best Salem moment of the episode when he says, dogs guard, cats watch, and judge. Real great there. We finally see Sabrina's desk, and she did put away the cauldron to appear less witchy.
Jenny would not question somebody putting pens in a cauldron. Jenny'd be like, that's brilliant. I'm going to get my own tiny cauldron to put my pens in.
Oh yeah, Jenny would be a similar monster to Sabrina in how she would use the cauldron.
No, Jenny may try to put like actual things like potions or soup or something in hers as well, but I think she'd be really excited about that as a decoration.
Agreed.
Erwin, the brain, is on the ground with his jar broken. Vilya telekinetically pushed him off the table over an argument about a book. And that book is The Shipping News. Do you want me to tell you about the book, The Shipping News, Skye?
Tell the dear readers about the shipping news.
Do you know about The Shipping News? Did you look it up?
The dear readers. The dear readers.
Dearest gentle readers.
I have already read the shipping news.
You have? Is it good? Because I think I'm going to put it on my list now. It seems a little wild.
I'm actually pulling up my Goodreads review of it right now.
Oh, yes. Okay, new segment. Skye reads a Goodreads review about a book that they read that was talked about on Sabrina.
Oh, I don't actually write anything for other people to know about these books. I just give it stars.
Oh, okay.
I gave it 3 stars, so not my favorite.
It sounded wild, and that's why I wanted to read it.
It's a bit wild. The movie adaptation is a bit wild, too.
Did you like the movie better?
I think I might have.
Okay.
When did I read this? It was at least 5 or 6 years ago that I read this.
What do you remember from it?
Newfoundland. Crazy, wife, cheating, dying in a car wreck, which has been used a couple times, a couple different books I can think of now.
You missed the parents' joint suicide.
Oh, yes. My apologies. I don't remember trying to sex traffic the daughters. Maybe I missed that when I was first reading it, and I just focused on the growth journey once he's writing the shipping news.
I just want to read this one part of the Wikipedia plot summary. So it says, shortly after his parents' joint suicide, Hoyle's unfaithful and abusive wife, Petal Bear, leaves town with a lover and attempts to sell their daughters Bunny and Sunshine to sex traffickers. On her getaway, Petal and her lover are killed in a car accident. The young girls are located by police and returned to Coyle. So, his parents killed themselves together. His wife cheated on him and abused him and left him, and then tried to sell his children into sex trafficking. This is the way Wikipedia summarizes those points. With selfish parents, an abusive brother, a cheating wife, and no stable job, Coyle's life is falling apart.
I mean, not wrong.
If I just read that line, I'd be like, oh, it's a guy in his 30s who just got divorced and his parents are assholes. I wouldn't be like, his parents committed joint suicide. Unfaithful and abusive wife died in a car crash and tried to sell his children into sex slavery. It's just a really, selfish parents, abusive brother, cheating wife, and no stable job. Okay. Thanks, Wikipedia.
Give it a read.
Yeah.
And we can talk further.
So that did win a Pulitzer Prize. Vilya brings up that Wendy Wasserstein also won a Pulitzer Prize, and that was in 1989 for her play The Heidi Chronicles. Do you know anything about The Heidi Chronicles, Skye?
I did read about it,
Okay.
and I want to read this play and or watch the recorded footage of Elizabeth Moss doing it because it sounds great, actually.
Did you see all the names that have played in this?
I think I skipped that part.
Sarah Jessica Parker, Cynthia Nixon, Tony Shalhoub, David Hyde Pierce. It's had some big names in this. I'm assuming other big theater names that I don't recognize, but those are the names I recognized.
It's flipped. I mean, that's mostly female cast, which you don't get, especially in 89.
Seems interesting. I did enjoy this. So this is the New York Times critic Mel Gussow wrote about it. It says, Ms. Wasserstein has always been a clever writer of comedy. This time she has been exceedingly watchful about not settling for easy laughter, and the result is a more penetrating play. This is not to suggest, however, that The Heidi Chronicles is ever lacking in humor.
I like that.
Did you see you were talking about the television film with Jamie Lee Curtis in it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, there's a 1995 television film with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Most Broadway productions do record at least one performance, and they don't necessarily make it available to the public, but you can go to a specific library and check out the recordings and watch them.
What library is that?
Don't make me remember right now.
Is it one in New York or something?
Yeah, it's in New York.
I didn't know if it was an online library, if I can go to my Salt Lake County library.
No, you have to go to a very specific. It exists, unless I'm gaslighting myself. Who knows?
Well, that ends our book segment of the show. Remember, we're back to Vilya and Erwin, the brains, arguing. Just then, the repairman and Hilda chase the lynch monster through the dining room. Sabrina needs to get Jenny out of the house. This isn't working. Jenny comes out of Sabrina's room to look for her and asks Salem where the linen closet is. He meows in response. Jenny knows she shouldn't snoop, but all that talk about towels got her curious. And in the hallway, downstage of Sabrina's room, there is a coat rack. Why is there a coat rack upstairs, 15 feet away from the front door? Do you store your coats upstairs? I mean, I do because you have to go upstairs to get into my house, but like, maybe it's a magic coat rack. Salem continues to meow, getting louder and louder until Jenny steps into the linen closet. The door closes and there's thunder and lightning taking her to the other realm. Sabrina comes up and panics, asking where she went. Salem is glad Jenny went to the other realm. Now everything can go back to normal. Sabrina rushes into a now empty linen closet. Sabrina throws towels around, yelling Jenny's name, and Hilda and Zelda come running to see what's happened. Sabrina tells them Jenny got sent to the other realm, while in the background, the cat actor jumps off the hamper and runs away. That's Salem being like, not my problem.
Your problem now. Okay. Sabrina throwing towels around, shouting Jenny. Clearly not useful. Why doesn't she just shut the linen closet door and follow behind Jenny?
She's a teenager. Their frontal lobes aren't developed. I'm sure that applies to witches too.
She can borrow one of the brains downstairs.
Can you imagine being a brain in a jar going through puberty and your frontal lobe hasn't developed?
Erwin says his left lobe hurts after the jar breaks.
Oh.
Yeah, he goes like, oh, my left lobe, like, oh, my back sort of thing. Which means if the brain is being hit directly, is it an even worse concussion to that part of the brain? And is it becoming even smoother than, say, when you hit your head and your noggin makes a concussion?
We're going to go down this rabbit hole. We're going down this rabbit hole. The brain jar people, they're clearly not human. There are some other species. So maybe this species has some sort of protection that a human brain would not have.
If you are a brain in a jar, let us know.
I also, when I started talking about brains going through puberty, my next thought was, how do these brains reproduce? But we don't have time for that. We do not have time for that discussion.
We do not. It's entering Mando territory.
Mando. That episode was the best. I just still think about that sometimes and laugh to myself.
We peaked right there.
We peaked. Sorry, guys. It's going to be 6 seasons of just downhill. We see Jenny in the other realm. She enters an empty space with a lot of fog, a bench, and a limbo pole. Skippy comes limboing in. Jenny asks if she's in Narnia, and Skippy shakes his head, then hands her a business card.
Which the business card says, Skippy, the Overlord's underling. So, do we just have a witches' council in name? And Drell's just truly the despot he was described as before, which point I say revolution time.
Maybe that's why we don't see the rest of the Witches Council anymore. Maybe he got rid of them.
And you said this is the last time we see Skippy, so he's probably mad at Skippy after this. And
Skippy's on the chopping block.
Yep.
Yes, it lends credence to the theory that Drell is just the most powerful, because if he is just a mad despot and can unilaterally change somebody into a grasshopper and nobody can do anything about it, maybe when he seized power, he did some sort of spell that sealed his magic over everybody else's. Maybe there's like layers. I'm going to try and make a D&D for reference, having never played D&D.
Well, let's hear this.
But maybe he's like a level 20. Like maybe he's like way high up there. Level 20 is high, right?
Yes.
Okay, level 20. Whereas like Sabrina's like a 1. And maybe the ants are like a 15. So maybe he can just like overpower their magic. But they can't overpower his. But is that how D&D works? No, that's not how it works.
I mean, your leveling is right. I mean, with powers combined with revolution, we can still take down the level 20.
Skippy tries to talk, but coughs up a frog. And this is where I'm like, wait, how many animals are in this episode? How much are we paying these animal handlers? Every episode so far, I think, has had an animal in it. What is going on? Also, including Salem. There's a lot of animals in this show. Jenny asks where she is, and Skippy points to the limbo pole. She's in limbo. Did Sabrina know about this? What else has she been holding out on? Jenny asks if there's someone else she can talk to, who can also talk back. Skippy has her limbo through a portal. Drell is lifting weights, stopping at 9,999. Jenny enters with Skippy and admits she's never seen a place like this before. Drell tells her it's called a gym. Jenny introduces herself and asks who he is. Drell laughs. Surely that's a joke. He is the head of the Witches' Council. Jenny tells him that she's immortal, and Drell laughs harder. Now he has to turn her into a grasshopper, and points at Jenny, replacing her with a grasshopper in a jar. Skippy is sad, but he knows he can't have Immortal. He didn't feed the last one, which means Immortal just died under Skippy's watch.
Oh, Skippy.
Or maybe they rehomed it. I don't know.
It's a very sad time in my life right now. There's no Molly in sight.
They didn't have the budget for another animal. They wasted it on a pony.
Or Hilda really did axe him when she was mad in that first episode.
Hilda was very bloodthirsty in that first episode.
Moment of silence for our dear friend, Molly the Mole.
Not long enough.
Yeah.
How long do you remain silent for a fictional mole? Sabrina and the ants enter limbo. They don't see Jenny anywhere. Skippy pokes his head through and gestures for them to come through the portal when asked if he has seen Jenny. The three witches limbo through the portal. And there is also thunder and lightning when you go through this portal, which made me wonder, do you think they get annoyed that you hear thunder and see lightning every time you go from place to place? How do you sneak anywhere? What are the teenagers doing? How are they sneaking out in and out of places? You can't.
Even just talking about thunder and lightning, I have Bohemian Rhapsody stuck in my head, so experience it constantly. Gonna be living that all the time.
Skippy walks with them into Drell's gym, but Sabrina still doesn't see Jenny. But Hilda does see Drell, so they should go. He gets to them first, however, and thinks he may have seen who they are looking for. Is her name Jenny? Yes. Does she have green eyes? Yeah. Is she a vegetarian? Yeah. Does she have a segmented body and ears on her thorax? No. Wanna bet? He shows them the Jenny grasshopper in a jar. He turned her into a grasshopper. It was either that or a Katydid.
Oh, I went down an entomology wormhole.
Okay. I'm waiting for you to say this word that you have written here.
I know, right? I apologize to the entomologists out there, all my bug people. I offended the horse people last episode. We're just gonna do this. Here's what I found. Katydid is commonly insects in the Katydid family.
Okay.
Scientific classification names. They do that on purpose. Anyways, this insect family does have over 8,000 species, but it is not part of the cricket or the grasshopper families, which are separate branches of the classifications. However, they are referred to sometimes as bush crickets, formerly were called longhorned grasshoppers, but they're more similar to crickets there. The biggest difference is a katydid is going to be a brighter green and a grasshopper is going to be a duller green, is what I found. Entomologists, I'm sorry if I butchered that.
So, you know the katydids that look kind of like leaves?
Mm-hmm.
My old cat Ebony loved to pick those up and put them in her mouth. And it was really funny because one end would always hang out, so it looked like she was smoking a cigar. We did not save those katydids. We just let her munch on them because it was hilarious.
Well, all the grasshoppers in the area probably have a new adaptation because Lizzie Borden will catch them.
Which is a cat. Lizzie Borden is a cat.
Jill choosing to name said cat this is very indicative, as you're about to hear. She purposely catches the grasshoppers that come onto the catio, brings them inside in her mouth, probably like a little cigar, dismembers a couple of their legs, leaves them around the house, but leaves them mostly alive for the most part. So we have released these.
They can't move, but they don't have legs.
Four-legged instead of like six-legged.
Okay, so they can kind of move.
Grasshoppers out into the wild. Numerous grasshoppers. Who knows? Northern Utah might have a grasshopper adaptation of just
for like a katydid or crickets.
Nope, not a katydid, not a cricket.
Grasshoppers, whatever they are. Drell turned Jenny into grasshopper. It's the rule, and rules are rules. Sabrina wants to see these rules. Drell calls for the rule bearer. Oh man, I'm going to say rules so many times in the rest of this episode. It's going to drive me insane. She comes out and pulls out a scroll, then starts reading rules. And I feel like my Utah accent is real hard on that word, but rules.
So the writer who wrote this is the same guy who did Terrible Things, right?
Yes.
Do you think this dude just really likes finding either a phrase or a word and just repeating it as many times as he can?
I mean, I think that's a commonality of some of these other episodes as well. Like, there's been a few things where but yes, the word rule, it's slowly turning into one of those words where I'm like, what are words? Isn't that such like
Such a weird word. So listeners, if you wanted to make this a drinking game, probably could have.
I mean, maybe don't blame me if you get alcohol poisoning after all the times I say rule. That's on
Drink
you.
some water. Let's stay hydrated.
Disclaimer, do not sue us for your alcohol poisoning. Drell tells her to skip to the part about mortals. Any mortal who passes into the realm must be turned into a creepy crawly thing. Drell hands Sabrina the Jenny grasshopper and she runs off. Zelda tells Hilda to let them be. They need to redefine their friendship. So it could be any bug. It didn't have to be a grasshopper or a Katydid. Maybe that's just what he's best at. Maybe he's just really good at making grasshoppers.
Could be. That's his only level 20 wizard spell.
Level 21's where you get centipedes. Of all of the bugs Drell could turn my friends into, I'd probably be okay with a grasshopper. If you were handed to me in earwig form, like, no, I would just smash you. I'm sorry.
You're okay with gaslighting. I'm okay with being smashed as an earwig. Just make it quick.
Okay, if I get turned into a grasshopper, gaslight me. If I get turned into anything with too many legs, just kill me.
Okay.
Centipede, millipede, nope, absolutely not. Sabrina is back in limbo with Jenny Grasshopper and apologizes for dragging her into her weirdness. All she wanted was to spend one normal night at her house. But sorry isn't enough with Jenny as a grasshopper, so Sabrina offers her a leaf.
At least in this form, Jenny can still be a vegetarian.
The rules bearer comes in for a bubbles break. She apologizes for the rules. What's so bad about mortals? Why doesn't Sabrina find a loophole? And then she repeats rule number 803. For every rule, there is a loophole. There is a chance for Sabrina to save Jenny. So Sabrina comes back with the loophole. Mortals without conscious knowledge of the realm may pass in and out of it freely. Loophole. Zelda points out that Jenny already has conscious knowledge, but Sabrina says they convince her she's dreaming.
So now we're going from Narnia to Alice in Wonderland.
Drell tells them to give it a try and changes Jenny back to human form. She's excited to see Sabrina there, but Sabrina isn't there, and neither is Jenny. She's having a dream. Jenny isn't buying it. Hilda and Zelda join in by pointing out an impossibly big apple. She has a test. Sabrina conjures up a desk. Jenny hasn't studied, and the test is on invertebrate zoology, and they missed the chance to do a really funny joke about grasshoppers, and instead went for cuttlefish and nautilus. So, you know what? I will call you out on this one, Mr. Writer.
I did notice that as well.
Yeah. And where's her pen? Time's up. She failed. Jenny is confused. Sabrina points out Jenny's dead grandfather and tells her to run to him, which this one's actually kind of mean. Pushing Jenny onto Drell's treadmill. Jenny keeps running, but she's not getting any closer. That's because it's a dream. Jenny starts to believe it is a dream, but there's something missing. Jack Wagner is in all of her dreams. Sabrina conjures him and Jenny jumps into his arm. He points out that it all seems so real, but that's just because Jenny is a visual person. And he doesn't get turned into a grasshopper. Sabrina zaps Jack away. Jenny doesn't like this dream anymore. Sabrina tells her that in order to wake up, she needs to go to sleep. Jenny lays down and falls asleep. Drell yells, "Wake up!" But the rules bearer tells him about rule number 42, let sleeping mortals lie. Sabrina gloats that she won this round. They levitate Jenny back into the mortal realm and into Sabrina's bedroom. Next week, Sabrina is going to stay at Jenny's house. They go down to the kitchen where Salem is playing Monopoly with the Brains, Repairman, and the Lint Gremlin, and winning.
Which I would expect nothing less than Salem, the potential world conqueror.
Do you think he cheated?
Probably.
Yeah, I bet so. This was the thoughts I had. So they put Jenny on Sabrina's bed. Jenny brought a sleeping bag. Jenny's going to be like, why am I sleeping on Sabrina's bed? Why am I not in my sleeping bag? Did they drug me? Maybe that's a thought we would have in the year 2024 that we wouldn't have back in 1997. But also, Sabrina just is already downstairs in the kitchen eating breakfast and left Jenny asleep. You don't do that to a friend at a sleepover. You hang out. You're not wake up in my strange house without me. Best of luck to you, friend. Come find me. The next morning, Jenny comes downstairs to eat breakfast and tells Sabrina about her dream, including how Jack Wagner saved her. Sabrina is upset that Jenny didn't say she saved her. Jenny wishes bizarre stuff like that could happen all the time. Just then, the Lint Gremlin pops up from behind the counter. Sabrina tells Jenny that she might not appreciate it as much as she thinks. Our end tag is the rules bearer reading out more rules. Number 56, witches must eat their carrots. Number 57, bats may not be kept as pets. Number 58, no using double negatives will be disallowed, or not using double negatives will be disallowed. Number 59, all children under 10 must be accompanied by monkeys. Number 60, no switching channels between programs. Number 61, all rules must have a beginning, a middle, and an end, except, is that it? I don't get that one.
Number 60, really smart there of ABC. Yeah.
You don't switch the channels. You just run to the bathroom and get a snack and come back.
What a wild time when you could miss things because of commercials and not game back in time.
Amazon Prime brought back commercials and everybody's kind of mad about it. And I'm not. Because I'm like, oh, it's forcing me to get up and walk away and like do something and then I can come back and watch my show again. I'm okay with the commercial.
If there's an option to pay more for no commercials, I do it.
I am too cheap.
That's valid.
I had the Hulu commercial option for a very long time until my brother-in-law complained about it so much that for his birthday present, I upgraded my plan, which now if he pisses me off, we're going back to commercials.
Power dynamics. Got a drill in the house here.
And now I'm used to not watching it with commercials. And honestly, if there was a commercial in the middle of the bear, I probably would have thrown something. Our next episode is going to be season 1, episode 14, Sabrina Through the Looking Glass, which you already referenced Alice in Wonderland earlier this episode. What do you think?
Alice in Wonderland Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Okay. Looking glass.
Okay.
Could be a mirror, right?
Yeah.
So she somehow creates a double of herself by looking through the mirror. It's a nefarious double that tries to kill everyone. And the end.
A little dark for a TGIF show, but you know what?
Look at Hilda.
We'll see.
Look at Drell. We've gone dark already.
We have. Well, that is our episode. I think there was more not about the episode than there was about the episode. I will be reading the shipping news this summer and I will report back on what I think. In the meantime, like, share, rate, subscribe this podcast. Email us at somethingwitchypod@gmail.com if you are a brain in a jar. If you know how to say the name for the Katydid family.
If you played the Lint Gremlin.
If you were the Lint Gremlin, if you voiced a brain in a jar, or if you are just as I said, just a brain in a jar. Very curious about your life cycle.
You're a taxi driver, a mortal taxi driver, and you've...
What's the weirdest thing you have driven around as an Uber or taxi driver? I'd love to hear that story.
Any brains in jars?
I bet you there is a story out there of someone, like on Halloween night. You can also follow us on Instagram at somethingwitchypod. Until next time.
Stay magical.